What's up, you wild tigers? Welcome to the next Game Design Show. I'm your host, KB. Today is the lens of endogenous value. Now, to use this lens, you have to think about your players' feelings and items and objectives and scoring in your game. Ask your questions. What is valuable to the players in my game? How can I make it more valuable to them? What is the relationship between value in the game and the players' motivations? Now, this one's a good one because it's you really have to think about, okay, is this item, the sword, meaningful to the players? Does it have good stats? Is it going to make the game more fun for them? Is it going to be something that they're going to be like, okay, well, I need to go out there and go get this sword? Or is it just there to be there and you're like, hey, go pick it up? And they're like, why? What's my incentive? There's no reason to, let me not go do it. Why should I go get the amulet? Why should I go get this cloth? Why should I go get that horse? Why should I do this quest? You have to understand that to make the game fun. Remember, the value of the items and score in the game is a direct reflection of how many players care about succeeding in your game. By thinking about what the players clearly care about and why you can get insights of the game can improve the gameplay for everyone else. Now, an example of this lens is the game Buzz Bee for the SNES, and Sega Genesis is a fairly standard platform game. You can play a cat who tries to navigate to the end of the levels, defeating enemies and avoiding obstacles. There's collecting yarn balls for extra points. However, the points serve no purpose other than to measure how many things you have collected. Okay? No other in-game reward is given for earning points. Most players gather yarn balls at first, within the expectation that they are valuable, but after playing a short while, they completely ignore you, focusing only on defeating enemies, avoiding obstacles, and getting to the end of the level. Why? Now, a higher score doesn't help that, and thus the yarn balls have no endogenous value. Theoretically, a player who defeats all levels might have a new motivation to defeat them again, but this time getting the highest score possible. In practice, the game itself was so difficult that the numbers of players who actually completed the game must have been small indeed. Sonic Hedgehog 2 for Sega was a similar platform game, but did not suffer from this problem. In Sonic 2, you collect rings instead of yarn balls, and the number of rings collected is very important to players. The rings have a lot of endogenous value. Why? Because carrying rings help protect you from enemies, and every time you collect 100 rings, you receive an extra life. In the end, Sonic 2 was a way more compelling game than Buzz Bee, and one of the reasons why this mechanism is very important. Kalatsky's definition gives us 3 new qualities we can add to our list. Games are interactive, games have challenges, games can create their own internal value. Let's consider one more definition of a game. A game is a closed formal system that engages players in a structured conflict and resolves on equal outcome. Most has been covered by previous definitions, but there are 2 parts to the one I want to pick out. First, engage players. It is a good point that players find games to be engaging, that is, they make players feel motivatedly immersed. Technically, we might agree that there's a quality of good games, though not all games, but it's an important point. Second, it's a closed formal system. This implies a lot of things. System means games are made of interrelated elements that work together. Formal is just a way of saying that the system is clearly defined and that the rules is closed is an interesting part. It means that there are boundaries to the system. It hasn't been explicitly get in other definitions, although the idea of endogenous value does imply it. Much has been made of the boundary at the edge of the game. John Hutsky called it the magic circle, and it does indeed have a kind of magical feeling to it. Now, there's so much to games. It's like they have to have goals, conflicts, rules, be won and lost, win and lose states, challenges, create their own value. Now, that's a lot of things. You might be asking yourself, well, how am I going to put that in my game? How do I know? Well, as a game designer, I'm going to tell you this is one important thing. You have to understand what the player experience is. Now, when you understand what the player experience is, you can then go in there and do what you need to do. So, if your game is going to be about like action adventure, build items and stuff that make the game an action adventure game. Make it have a reason to go out there and find it. Does it give you more lives? Does it make you stronger? Does it give you money? Does it progress you in the story? Now, if you're making like a simulation game, do the items make the game more fun? Like, let's say if you get a stereo in Sims, the game becomes more fun because your Sims can play, and it helps boost their fun. If you're playing a game like Fortnite, is the weapon more powerful? Is the skill you're going to get like the bombs or the thing that makes you fly or certain things that help you jump up around or build faster? Will that help you win the game? Now, if you're playing a game like let's see, Apex, is it important to go get the health or the shields? Do they make you better in the game? Now, this is the same thing with microtransactions, and you got to be careful with that because microtransactions, if they provide that value, is it going to be a pay to win or is it going to be a cosmetic? These are things you have to ask yourself and be like, what is the most important part when I'm playing, when I'm making this game, so that the player can be fully immersed and it can be a formal system so that way it's not going to break the game or make the game less fun, especially if it's a multiplayer game. And I want you guys to also think about different type of items. So make sure it's not all the same, like weapon. There's got to be the variety of value. Otherwise, players are going to get very, very stuck with doing the same thing over and over again. Now, so if all games involve some kind of problem solving, and problem solving is one of the things that defines us as a species, perhaps you should look more closely into problem solving. That is going to be the next lens for the next week. To this week, I want you guys to come up with about 5 different endogenous values items that you can add into the game. List it down in the comments. Tell me why it's value, why I should go after it, why should somebody go and get that in the game. And I will see you guys next week. And as always, keep being awesome, keep creating games. You are a game designer.